Do you guys think we need a diploma to work on a prominent VFX studios? Mohamed Raof, I will start with
No,
you.
no, no, I don't think so. I've met so many talented artists in this career. And, not everyone got a diploma to be able to work in big studios.
So we don't need a diploma to work on a big studio.
No, in my opinion, no, I don't think so.
Well, you don't have one, so that's a good example.
Yeah, I don't have
Well,
one.
you have one not in the field, so that means it works actually. You can get to the field without having a diploma
Yeah,
in the field. Mr. Jovanovic.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need it, obviously. It doesn't hurt to have it if you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bit of controversial opinion that maybe that's also the part of the problem that lots of people who, come from anywhere can do something. So I think it's kind of not helping the system in a way, because like some people could get through career skyrocket without anything, just with friendships,
Yeah.
and which like couldn't happen in some professional fields, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I experienced, for example, that people who got promotions just because they spent like 10 years in the same company,
Mm.
and that's the only merit. Like, I don't know. I said maybe it's controversial from my side, but
Yeah, but this is more inside the industry. This is more like okay, I got the job and
yeah.
But it's my question is more before, let's say, to get to the industry, do we need a diploma? Do you think we need a diploma?
I don't think
Or
we need it.
Is it like, yeah, because some people think it's necessary to have a degree or diploma to work in VFX. I don't think
maybe
so.
the thing with diploma is just most of the time they will offer you an internship in big studios. So that will be like a good introduction for you. And maybe they will know you there, and you think you're good. You can.
Yeah, but it's more. It's more like the school who will do that to you. But the reason why I'm asking this question is it's more like it's the portfolio or your show reel that will fight for you. It's not a diploma.
Yeah, of course.
Because you can have a diploma and you can have an internship in the biggest studio in the world. If you
I tell you
don't
something. Most of the job applications that I see, that they always mention that you must have a diploma. Like almost all of them.
And I don't know where is mine, anyways. But
they say like you must have a diploma.
Do they still do that? Because I wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah, I did not see that. Yeah, I did not see that.
I wasn't checking.
No, I see
ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't apply for a while actually, but yeah, I remember like maybe 2 years ago it was there.
Okay.
So yeah. So, and even when I used to apply, I was like, "Is that for real? Like, okay, I don't have a diploma. Should I apply or what?"
Yeah, it's.
But some experience could be valuable, even if it's not diploma. Like I know the friend of mine who is a sculptor, who is now in Weta.
Yeah.
He got hired straight away because he was a really good sculptor, and he learned most of the trade over there. But he was a good sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can help, even if it's not officially diploma. But if you go to the good school,
No, I mean, good. I mean, there is a difference in my opinion. You can go to a big school, but without having, you don't need a diploma. It's more like to learn the craft, to learn how it works, to learn. Yeah. That's what. Yeah, of course. I mean, I went to a good school back then when I was in France, but I still don't know where is my diplomas. I'm sure they are there somewhere, but I never used them. To be honest, I always applied with my show reel or portfolio.
Of course.
So maybe I would need it at some point, because I know for some reason when you apply for a company or companies in Canada, sometimes they ask for a diploma, but that's the only reason. It's just for visa purposes. It's not for like to see. I mean, if you're good enough, yeah, okay, I need a bachelor degree in mathematics or physics to allow you to work in. Or like even VFX, diploma in VFX. So, I mean, as far as I mean, from my experience, I don't see the necessity of having one. It's more like, okay, I have a good showreel, I have a good portfolio. This is how I go to the field. That's it.
That will get you for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because actually having a diploma doesn't mean that you're good.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Because you're getting a lot of help from the instructors and from friends and all these things. So
You don't. It's not necessarily you that did the work. Actually, it's maybe your colleagues or friend who did it for you.
Yeah, you got a lot of instructions on direction how to do these things for your graduation project and all these things.
No, that's true. What's the biggest asset, in your opinion, to be able to work in those studios?
Yeah, when you say that, you mean?
I mean, what the main skills that an artist should have to be able to work in big VFX studios?
Just your showreel, your portfolio. Like, I got hired without a showreel. I got only just 4 or 5 stills in my portfolio. I was able to get a job in DNEG.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a different question, right?
Yeah, my question was, I mean, it's more like, okay, if you have maybe the right mentality, you would be able maybe to work in big studios, or let's say if you are lighter, if you had like some drawing skills, would that help you? You know, to.
Yes, of course.
It's more. My question is more about, I mean, oriented about that, about what skills would it help you to be like a valid asset or a good asset in a big VFX studio?
Well, I think you would never know. Like, it's up to the chance. Like, you join the studio and you see if you're gonna fit with the environment or not. Like, I tell you, you might be like very good in artistic way, but you might not be able to catch up with the pipeline. It's very complicated for you. Like, you can't understand how to do it. Like, it's not about placing the light. Light is just you place the light where it is and the color balance and all this thing. But at the end, you don't know how to do this within the pipeline in the company.
You don't. I see. I see your point. But you still know how to light. I mean, it's like using.
You still know how to light.
No, I exactly see what you mean. It's like, for instance, you use 3ds Max and you're gonna jump using Maya from the next. I mean, in a couple of months. But if you know where to place a key light or rim light or like a fill light, you still know how to light. You just need to learn how to do it in Maya, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's further than the software itself. What I'm trying to say is that the company is structured itself.
Yeah.
How you're gonna get files from other artists and how you're gonna publish the files and all these things might be a big issue for you.
Yeah, somehow, I see what you mean. If you're a freelancer, you never worked in a pipeline before, that's gonna be super hard for you, like for at least the first months, 2-3 first months, at least. It depends on the pipeline, of course. I see what you're referring to.
No, not referring to anything.
No, not you, Alexander. Alexander was laughing. No. Alexander was laughing, so I knew what he was referring to. So I mean, I exactly see your point. So the pipeline could be an issue for some artists, or it could be an issue even if you're coming from a different company, because not all the pipelines are the same anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could work, I don't know, X company and you go to Z company, and I mean, you can get lost quickly. And the logic of each company is different depending on the developers and the line or the mentality of the company.
But some main key features remain. I mean, even though I agree you can struggle with pipeline, especially if you don't get help.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly people are helpful unless they're super busy. I think some of the skills that would really help you in terms of no matter where you are is basic knowledge of art theory and maybe even photography if you're going to VFX. Because lots of people, I think, don't really understand how that works.
Yeah.
They learn along the way, but at the beginning could be a struggle because we're still working on, when we work in VFX, we work on with plates.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
So the better you understand the process, the easier would be for you to do something that looks really good for the movie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if someone talk to you and say, okay, let's put a 50 millimeter here or 35 millimeter there, or
even with the color, contrast, lighting, it's different from animation. Animation is like a bit more, can be more creative in that regard. But I think it's less forgiving when you work with the movies, because you can easily spot when something is not photoreal.
Yeah, of course.
And when something is photoreal.
Yeah, makes sense. Make complete sense. Mohamed Raof, if there is shot that you saw of a movie, what shot would you like to redo of a movie you like? You redo yourself.
Okay, you mean the shot's not mine, but the shot.
No. Shot not yours.
Okay.
Like a shot from a movie you liked.
Oh man, there's a lot of shots.
I just want one.
but I tell you, I tell you something, like the shots that I used to see back in the day. I can remember. It's a very simple shot that Fight Club, actually.
Yeah.
There was a shot in the Edward Norton apartment with the camera just keep moving.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Just following the wires and all these things, showing you how the explosion is about to happen.
I think it's a fly-through shot.
Yeah. This one of the shots also, when I saw it, I was like crazy about it. Like, I want to do something. Because it looked so real. I mean, when I learned it was like full CG, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was done in 1999, I think, or 1998.
Yeah. 99.
Well, the movie was released in 1999, so I presume that the movie was done like 6 months or earlier. 6 months or a year earlier than the release.
Yeah, and as I told you, I think all the cinematics for Warcraft, I was crazy about it. I would like to do them all again. Yeah.
We have a Blizzard fanboy.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we can call Blizzard for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, from the new movies, I can't really remember. There's a lot of scenes in my head now. I can't give you one exactly.
So many of them.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex? Is there a shot?
Same couple of them. Like one of the mentioned one was from Starship Troopers, when the bugs attack the military base, and some of the space shots, they were looking really cool. I watched the movie recently. They aged really well. Still holds up.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. I mean, some movies done like 20, 30 years ago, they still work so well.
Maybe opening sequence of Terminator 4. That was like really impressive with the war and machines.
Terminator 4.
Sorry, Terminator 2.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, but I think it's lots of animatronics over there, less.
Yeah,
but it's still cool. I would be like to involve.
Of course, yeah.
And since we mentioned Lord of the Rings, the first one, Battle in Moria.
Yeah,
that looks really cool.
I remember the opening.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was amazing.
It was amazing in the cinema.
I mean, plenty more, but those are kind of sticking, in my opinion, with me.
Yeah,
at least.
That's great. That's great. Those are great choices.
I would also like some animation movies, but that could be a long.
No.
run.
Yeah, go ahead. Which ones?
Early Pixar movies were really interesting.
Yeah,
early ones.
Yeah, the first.
I mean, they still look amazing, but I think back then, when you saw it, was way more impressive.
Yeah, I mean, 1995, when you see the first Toy Story, mind blowing. You know, it's wow.
Yeah.
How is that even possible? You know, imagine it's soon 30 years old. The movie will be like 30 years old. Like in a couple
actually
of years.
it is.
Yeah. I mean, you still watch these movies now, like Terminator 2 and Toy Story 1.
It's unbelievable.
I think it was made with very old technology, and like Alex said, like the basics of everything that will help you to get there, like it's not about the tools actually.
Yeah.
It's just if you know the color theory and how to light and all these things. So with any tool you could get a good scene.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, how big is the VFX industry back home?
Considering how countries smaller than like UK or France, it's pretty good going, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of studios. Mostly we do commercials and games.
Mm-hmm.
Games maybe the most. But there is a couple of studios that they'll still do VFX, and they're kind of hub for artists to go abroad to UK, Canada, or USA even.
Okay.
I mean, there is plenty of talented artists coming from Serbia.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's good to know. Mohamed Raof, how about Egypt?
I think we as well, we have a very talented artists. And we have Raof's small studios, they are doing great jobs, characters or game assets, all this stuff. And they are outsourcing the work. And on the big level, I hope like really the movie production will start to rely more on CG. Like we have good CG in the movies now, but it's just like to help you to add more to the story, like some explosions or set extensions or something in the background, something like this. But to really hope that the movie producers will start to produce movies that would rely completely on CG, like if you want to make a sci-fi movie or something like this. So you could hire more artists and open more jobs for the artists to work in Egypt. That would be great if we could have something like this.
Yeah, that would be great. Of course, it's because you will have more movies and people will learn more, so the industry would get bigger.
Yeah,
the quality will improve. So it's
you will have a better competition, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's for sure. So, Mohamed Raouf, how long did it take you to master the required skills in order to create a show reel appealing to VFX studios? Not roughly, more or less. Not necessarily when they answered you back. It's more like, how long more or less did it take you to do like even those still images?
I tell you, like every time you get a mail back that we cannot sponsor or we're not fair enough, you keep thinking by yourself that you need to work more on yourself, maybe or something like this. But then I think in 2016, I was still working in Dubai, and things were not going well with me actually in many different ways, like with the company and financially and all these things. Then I decided that I need to go and start freelancing. So I could have more free time and start to work on my portfolio. I remember this took me I think 2 years to work on my portfolio beside trying to do some freelancing. So I used to do a lot of personal work and just post it and publish it on the different sites like ArtStation, 3D Total, CGTalk and all these things. I started to get some good feedback. I got some of my works published with CGTalk, and same as well. I get some editor choice with ArtStation and all these things. I got published in one time in 3D Artist magazine. So I started to feel that I'm getting back on track. I started to feel like I'm doing something I didn't do before in my whole career. I was doing just only the normal work, like the work that you do with your company or with your studio, and then you try to put this in your portfolio, but it was always not good enough for you. So it's almost took me 2 years. I keep working on my portfolio, and what was happening, I could do one still image per month. So I keep working for 7-8 months, and I have 7-8 new photos in my portfolio. What I used to do, I used to remove them all and start from scratch.
Okay.
You need to do something better. So if you check my portfolio now, I have only I think 7 or 8 as well. This was the latest, because every step I take, I feel this one is old now. You have to remove it because you need to keep your portfolio empty just to encourage yourself to work more. It's not. That's it. It's just you have some kind of stills and you're gonna sit on this.
It's if you have 50 images, you're gonna say, I have more than enough now.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember I got my first call with NPC Montreal at the end of 2018.
When?
Something
Sorry,
like this.
say it again.
At the end of 2018.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Somewhere, yeah, because I started doing this in 2016, and then I got a call for interview in 2018. Then I heard from DNEG in 2019. Yeah, and this was my first job actually.
Okay. Amazing. So, what about you, Alex? How long did it take you to master the required skills in order to create a showreel?
Well, when I started working, I had mostly commercials showreel, because at that point that was the only thing I could do related to 3D, like pack shots, anything related to that field. But I didn't like it. And at some point.
You mean working in commercial? You didn't like it, or?
No, I liked it, but I didn't see that kind of showreel would get me
I
where
see
I
what
want
you
to
mean.
go now.
Okay, yeah.
So I decided to abandon it and basically just work on something that's supposed to be me. So I took a year off and I do a couple of images that actually landed me job first in Norway, and then that helped me to get here in UK. But I decided that even though I don't mind working commercials, I would work now, even now. I just think that wouldn't sell me as good, just because it's not really in the field of VFX. So, and also because I wasn't sure if I want to go to animation or VFX, because I have broad interests here.
Yeah.
And like I said, I even worked in games. I felt that this was not me enough, and I decided to present myself with my own personal images to the studios and recruiters.
So it was the same as Mohamed Raof. You presented stills, so you got. I think your first job in the UK was at MPC, right?
Yeah.
So your first, let's say, thing that you showed or presented to a recruiter was still images as well.
Yes, that was on FMX year before.
Okay.
I mean, I showed some stuff that's like, at that point I just finished movies in Norway, so I couldn't show anything related to that. Those movies will be released like in 6 months from then, so I can't show it. So I basically just showed my still images, my 3D renders, and they seemed to like it. They called me because of that.
Yeah, that's great.
I could show them commercials, but I didn't feel, like I said, that's going to be good enough for them at that point.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
1 second. 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Okay.
Do Alexander the clap with us? Or
no, Alexander doesn't care about the clap. He's caring about the focus.
He's caring about the pizza.
The pizza.
Caring about my beauty on the camera. I want to look pretty and cute.
I won't cut this. I want people to know.
What kind of diva am I?
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I've been wondering, in your opinion, is it hard to transition from being a VFX artist in the film industry to work in video games? Who want to start?
I can give you a short answer because I don't have any experience in the game industry.
Yeah.
But I think now it's easier to come from game to movie, especially after everyone now is shifting to Unreal, and amazing things that we see coming from Unreal now, the cinematic renders and all these things. So, but I think for someone working in film, if he wants to go to the game industries, I think it's going to be very hard. I think that's my opinion.
Why you think is that?
I think they have a lot of technical stuff that's required to be able to work in games more than working in movies. Like working in movies, you have the luxury of having high polys and high textures.
I see what you mean. Yeah, the restrictions, like low poly. Yeah, but yeah. For that, yeah, it's true. I mean, I know.
But
Like in game, you have to do an explosion with 50 particles.
Yeah, imagine you're working in games and now they're telling you, no, you don't have limits in textures or geometry. You do whatever you want. So, yeah, even now with the new graphic cards and all these things, you could expand a little bit, but still, I think. But I'm not following up really with the game industry and what is new there. So, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, sure. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's what he says. It's easier from guys in games to go to the movies than going from movies in the games, because I tried to apply in a couple of places just out of curiosity. Well, actually, I wanted to work for a change in the games again, but I couldn't succeed. They were not convinced that somebody from movies can work successfully in the games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you had any answer like more specific answers? Why exactly? Is it because you guys have no limit of memory?
No, we didn't even get the chance to discuss it.
Okay.
It was like no, with some places I did, but eventually they decide to go with somebody who has already a game experience, even though these projects were just starting. Like literally, they were gonna go in 3-4 years. So I think I need 3-4 years to learn how to adapt to the games. You know, I think they're kind of closer now than ever.
Yeah, we are super close nowadays than
and we are adopting lots of their tools anyway, especially in virtual production.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get my foot through the door in so far to work in.
Because it seems weird. I mean, it seems weird for me because, for instance, if you do 2D animation, right?
Yeah.
And you want to do 3D animation, I mean, it's the same thing. You just have to learn the tool, right?
Well, at least in my case, because I'm generalist but mostly focused on environments.
Yeah.
It's not like I have to sacrifice so much, I think, because...
No, I mean, they use Houdini in game and they use Unreal.
That's a cool thing, yeah.
So, there is even great tools, game tools inside Houdini.
Yeah, and I'm using them, I mean, but it's not like you mentioned the effects when you need to do explosion with 5 particles.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but it is technical. But I don't think I would need years to master environments in games.
No, of course not.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't still understand why there is this like border when you rarely can cross and become a mythical being that was once in the films and now is in the games. You know. Probably going to be watched like, you know, special kind of person, you know.
I saw a lot of people coming from game to films.
Yeah, me too.
But it's true that I saw few people transition from film to from game to from film to game.
So you know people like that? I don't know anyone.
Yeah, there is, but it's super rare. I mean, maybe from people around me, maybe 1 or 2 in like the past 10 years. So that's why I was intrigued to know your opinion, guys, because it doesn't make sense for me, especially now. It's getting the gap is getting.
But it's almost like saying that people that worked in animation cannot work in feature film. You know,
it's the same thing. I mean, I mean, it's like if you do, I don't know, water simulation and feature film, it's gonna be more or less the same if you do it for VFX movie. So I don't see. I don't know. Shouldn't be taking that long to transition from one thing to another.
No, I don't think so as well. I mean, for me personally, it's all kind of an art, right?
Of course, yeah.
Or a craft, but it's not so different. It's not
like changing your pen to write your name or something like that, you know.
Exactly.
Or using a pencil instead of a pen. A pen to write your name. So it's.
To be honest, like, I never got a clear answer why they don't want me. It's more like they're kind of scared, even though they admit that something like they told me a couple of times. It's refreshing to have someone from film for a change.
To destroy the pipeline.
Huh? To destroy the pipeline. Yeah. They were thinking like we need someone to challenge us with number of polygons. No, they were more thinking like it was like an honest discussion, and they say like somebody from film could be interesting for a change. So maybe we can learn something from you and you can learn something from us, which I think is totally fair. But then ultimately the decision was no.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get that.
But I would like to try, and yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I hope I will make another game by myself. So
yeah, that would be great. I would love to see that.
You're gonna have to wait a bit.
I have all my time. Mohamed Raof, how do you stay up to date within your role?
Oh yeah. You mean the new technology and new software?
Yeah, new technology, new software, new way of doing things. Like sometimes, well, it doesn't happen often, but pipeline doesn't change, along. I mean, when a show is running, but let's say when you do an aftermath, of a show, and you say, I wish I could have done this differently or better, or if I had that tool, I would have done it different.
I tell you something. I always like to stick to the basic. Like the best way I learned the things that I can do is just from learning from the basics. Like I tell you what I mean. Like I learned lighting from watching 2D painting for lighting. Like I used to watch how artists would paint a 2D lighting in his scene. So you know how he scatters the light, how he do the GI and all these things, and just you take this and you apply in the CG world. Or even you watch how they do lighting for cinema or TV, and you see how they place the lighting and how they consider everything, and just you do this in the CG. And the same thing for texturing, like understanding the nature of the surface, nature of the metal, nature of the wood or whatever it is. And then you try to apply this inside the software itself. So the thing is that with the new softwares and new updates, I always go check like where I can do the things that I want to do. Like something like I don't want the tool to control me, especially with the new tools like Substance, Painter, and all this. They give you like amazing tools that it will do things for you. Like if you want to paint dirt now, it's so easy with brushes. Not like before when you used to do it in Photoshop first and you customize your own brush and all these things.
Nightmare.
But now you really, but you used to distinguish the work from artist to another one. But now, like most of the work, not most of the work, but you see the work looks similar somehow.
Yeah, it reminds. Sorry to interrupt, but it reminds me a lot automobile industry. Most of the cars look more or less the same now. I mean.
Yeah.
Unless you are buying like I don't know, very like 1 million or 2 million pound car. I mean, there is no for me there is no big difference between I don't know a middle range car or like a super fan. They look almost the same now, more or less.
Yeah. So I'm not really a fan of the tool, but from time to time, of course, you need to check what's new and you need to experiment, especially like with render engines, like. You need to know which one is going to give you the best result and the best quality and the best time and all the things that's required from you just to keep trying and make a lot of tests and all these things. Yeah.
Thank you. Alex?
It's the same for me. How I keep updated.
Yeah. How do you keep updated? Sorry, I should have repeated the question.
Well, I just basically read and watch what people are doing around, especially in smaller studios, because I think in bigger studios it's kind of with pipeline. Most of the things are set, but smaller studios they tend to fight for what they have to achieve. So I watch their solutions, what they're doing, and I think I've been lucky to change a couple of places. Just because I learned good things and bad things from them, but I learned some other software as well. So I also talk with people from effects, for example, what they're using, because I'm generalist more or less. So I like to keep informed about everything new. I don't have time to implement everything, but I'm trying my best. So lately I've been learning a couple of new techniques with Houdini, Substance. Again, gaming tools that are coming slowly to us. But in talking to people mostly, trying to find information where you can. Because I like new stuff. I don't like to get stuck and do same thing in years and years and years.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Even with the most powerful pipeline that will give you the best results, I would be bored in 2 years' time if I have to go and repeat the same stuff all over
Yeah, it's
again.
not fun. I mean, the cool thing, at least in our sudden FX, is not every movie is the same. I mean, every movie is a challenge, and you change constantly. It's either you improve the setup that you've been doing, or you're doing new things every time. Even sometimes we did same FX, for example, in Jungle Book that we are maybe doing now, but we've been now 7 years now, 6-7 years since we did the movie, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, things constantly change. I mean,
they do change.
Yeah, even if the result is good then, and I mean maybe a little bit better now. But yeah, the way of doing things, change a bit. Change. Yeah. You try to improve it as much as you can.
Definitely, and I mean, lots of new tools appear. Like I saw because I like everything. Like I said, like I like even effects if I can do it. So
you can.
There is new cool things like fluid solvers that are GPU based. So it's not like I want to do and spend ages like you guys in effects doing setups, but I still would like to do it from time to time from something for myself, you know. So it doesn't have to be.
Water is it's super heavy. I mean, you can of course, but you have to be very patient, and it takes ages to do something, let's say, more or less decent. Or you have to be very, very patient and have.
But I would still like to do it at least once for myself.
Yeah, no,
not
of
Hollywood
course.
Quality.
Oh no, of course you can. Of course, and by no means. Of course you can do whenever you can. You can do it. But yeah, I mean, maybe I won't start with the fluids because it's. I would start with something else a little bit lighter for now, and then go. I mean, and then go to start doing liquids or fluids, because it's super hard to start from. Not necessarily for you. I'm talking in general.
Yeah.
It's not the first thing to learn when you want to do FX, because it's the hardest thing. One of the hardest things to do.
Well, I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to change my career and become effects artist.
You can if you want. I know you can. You have the skills.
But I was doing back in the days when I was supposed to do commercial. You know, they give you like you need to put explosion, you need to put smoke.
Yeah.
You have to
we all used to do this. Yeah. Fire trails. You know the shot in Transformers where the first Transformers when the robots were coming from space to Earth?
Yeah.
Okay, I was working with a company before and they asked me to do the same shot. I was like, the same shot? I was
very
trying
ambitious.
I did something but turned out to be like not that good anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time. Again, it's like everything. The difference between maybe working in a small studio and a big one is you buy the time. You buy the time to iterate, to push more the boundaries, and have the time to have proper feedbacks, you know. But every company is different, and every company do things differently anyways.
Yeah.
Do you guys share, or are you keen on sharing your knowledge and experience with people that are less experienced? Mohamed Raof, I will start with you again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I owe it to the industry actually, because I learned from other people. I learned a lot, and I was always amazed with the efforts that other artists are putting on the internet just for free, whatever their own blogs or YouTube videos or anything. So, of course, I feel that I'm in debt for other artists also, and whenever I get the chance, if someone would ask for my help, I would never hesitate to help him. Even if I don't know him, sometimes I get emails from people I don't know. They would just ask for help with something they're working on, and I immediately reply and I help them, because this is what other people did to me, and I want to repay this for other people.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I like this mentality that we have in our industries, like based on sharing knowledge and information.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I was considering at some point if I want to go and teach, because I
really?
kind of like it. There's an idea, but I didn't materialize on it. And maybe it's for the better, because now I have some new ideas that I wouldn't have time to do if I'm teaching. But generally, I like sharing all of these ideas. Like he said, for free. Why not? I mean, I got plenty of ideas between colleagues for free.
Yeah.
Why should I charge, so much to the other artist? I'm more, generally speaking, because lots of people are having different programs and they could be expensive or less expensive. For whatever reason, I would still go and give many of those informations for free, because I think we should charge to the clients rather than charge to ourselves.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Alex, can you tell us more about your field of specialty?
Well, I'm an environment artist, but more or less I'm a generalist, only focused on environments.
What environment artists or generalist artists do?
Well, more or less they do the same. We do set extensions, we do full CG environments. We're basically set dressers of the...
DMP as well, right?
DMP as well, yeah. Digital painting. But lately I think it's less focused. I think DMP is kind of, in film at least, sort of dying off, I have a feeling.
Okay.
I mean, at least where I was working, focus was mostly on 3D. Even though I think DMP can help a lot to sell the shots. Maybe it also depends on the production.
Mm-hmm.
Like on a couple of shows it was not a question, we're not going to use DMP. On some other shows it was like mostly DMP.
Mm-hmm.
But where I'm coming from, we're doing everything, even lighting, sometimes effects. I like this kind of fast-paced attitude where you do as much as you can. I was even doing animation at some point. I just didn't see myself doing only animation.
I see what you mean.
But it can help a lot. Like at least I know the basics. So if I need to do something, I know it's gonna look okayish, like because I know how to animate something.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically. But I also enjoy every other thing, like texturing, look deving, lighting, even comping. Why not? If I could do everything including directing of the movie, I would do it, if I have an opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
So if some producer is watching, he can give me a chance.
Of course, just submit your portfolio in the comment.
Of course. I hope you're going to put showreel so they're going to see that I'm,
talented
young man.
We will put your showreel.
Nice.
Mohamed Raof, what about you? Can you explain us more about your field, please?
Right now I'm doing lighting with DNEG, but I can also do environment. Like I remember at first I applied for environment role with DNEG, but when they called me they said, if you want to do environment, okay, but we see that we need you more in the lighting department. So I was like, okay, no problem. And I'm more into like producing the whole scene. Like what I like to work on is like starting from the composition, like how we're gonna build up the scene.
You mean from layout?
No, I mean the composition itself. Like
sorry, yeah, sure.
If you want to do like any kind of shots, like interior or exterior or whatever it is, like what is the element we're going to have? Is this like in the street, something like we have trees, cars, all these things. So how we're gonna arrange our scene, something like this, and then of course do the modeling and texturing, the lighting, of course, and like journalist somehow.
So we're the same, right?
Yeah, you guys the same.
Yeah, but I've been doing like lighting and rendering and composting for like the past 3 years, maybe. I mean, as in my work, like most of the work that I used to get, the people just asking me to do these things. But for me, when I work in my free time for my portfolio, I love to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, did the work, Mohamed Raof, experience live up to your expectations?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was impressed with the people. Really, they are very welcoming, and You get the chance to talk with everyone, all the levels, supervisors and leads. They all share information with you. They teach you a lot. They don't save any effort. And of course, the system also, the system was good. And when you work in small studios on these things, they don't have a proper pipeline, really struggle, and you spend a lot of time just to organize your stuff and your files and your naming convention and all these things. But working with a proper system, that's really helped a lot.
What about you, Alex?
It did, but I'm still searching for myself in a way, because I don't want to stay put in one place forever. I'm kind of restless in that way, so I'm looking for what I'm gonna do next, and probably gonna do something different for a change. Because it's been a while I'm doing this, so it did live up to my expectations, but after a while, I feel like I want to do something more creative in a way, so I can be a creative driving force rather than just executing for other people. That's my ultimate long-term goal. So I'm trying a bit of different things, writing screenplays, preparing. I have ideas for a couple of short movies that I want to do, even a game. So I hope that in the future I could have a chance to at least do one of those things, just to show that I can do even more. Because I think...
Yeah, it's more on a personal level, right? It's more like to prove to yourself that you are able to do different things.
Yeah, and I also want to say that I at least did one of my things, like one of my movies or one of my books or one of my screenplays, and I could say I did it, instead of
and you learn so much from that process. I imagine.
Yeah,
so much you learn so much from new things from other people that you might necessarily think you might learn from, but sometimes you're amazed.
Well, I think the learning bit is the most interesting part,
of course,
and also failing, because I didn't come to some conclusions just by constantly succeeding. I failed a lot.
It doesn't work, of course.
And even now you fail sometimes, but I think it's only natural and okay. I don't think you can always be successful at something constantly.
No, it's impossible. I mean, what's the point? How do we learn if it's linear? It's a line and...
and to return to the question about learning curve, I have a feeling that my learning curve was a bit steeper. I know people who exploded and had very skyrocket career. But I'm not complaining, and I would still do the same, because sometimes it takes more time.
You
just have to
be
believe,
patient.
Be patient, and do at your own pace.
Of course,
because I'm not even judging others how they're gonna progress.
Everyone is different, anyways. I mean, I mean, it can take me like 5 years to learn something. It can take you or Mohamed Raof like maybe a couple of weeks or two.
Exactly.
It depends. They really depend of the people, or of the way how you learn and the way how you see things. So things may differ from one person to another.
Yeah.
Mohamed Raof, would you like the opportunity to learn more in a different specialty?
No, different specialty related to CG or some other field.
No, anything, CG or not, no CG.
Yeah, sometimes when I have time, I might learn something else, something new. Like I used to learn or study photography. I spend a lot of time doing some photography. I also love cars, I love mechanics. I fix my car by my own self.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I love to read and go buy spare parts. And if I have the proper tools, I go fix things by myself. Stuff like that.
That's great. Yeah. Do you fix your computers as well?
Yeah, of course.
Can you fix my windows?
Yeah, I can install Windows.
Which one? The window? The actual window?
Yeah.
Can you repair my hard drive, man?
How about you, Alex?
I'm trying now to write my own screenplay, and I'm learning that.
But is it a screenplay for movie or screenplay for game?
Well, that's the funny part, because when I speak to the friend of mine who is a director, we figure out that the story that I had in my mind could work for any of those in theory.
Yes, that's super hard.
But it can.
Yeah, of course it can. Yeah. Because I don't know if you notice, sometimes they bring like a game to movie.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's a failure. Like I don't know, Tomb Raider or Hitman, or even I don't know. I'm not tempted to see the new Mortal Kombat or something. I mean, when I see
you see the trailer only. That's it.
Yeah, you just see the trailer and then, oh my god, okay.
But
I still prefer the game. I don't want to go to see the movie.
Well, we'll see. Maybe
I'm not
gonna do it.
Of course, but, no. Sorry,
but
that was not my intention.
Because I had a basic story that I started writing like a year ago or something. Mm-hmm. I already wrote some stuff, right, and I discussed it with him. So I want to do a game, but I think we have a lot of elements that potentially, if we cannot find, everybody says like, no, you never worked in a game, so you're not going to make a game. We could, in theory, based on what I did, I could make a graphic novel if I want.
Yeah, that would be great.
I could make a movie in theory, although hardly possible, but still, because I have a story that I'm feeling now to make a game, so lots of gaps I need to fill in. But you can translate this to animated TV show, for example. It wouldn't be much different. Although my personal desire is to be a game for many things, because I always wanted to do this kind of game. But let's see what will happen. I'm just enjoying the process.
Yeah, that's
of
amazing.
Creating.
Yeah, of course, learning learning new things.
I don't mind even if that never happens. I would still be happy that I have this piece of story that is mine, and I'm like super happy that it's there.
Yeah, that's great. So now we're gonna move to a little bit to the future, actually. What strings would you like to add to your bow if you had the opportunity? Any software you'd like to learn about in the future? Mohamed Raof, start with you again.